Welcome, everyone. This is Coffee with a Founder. I'm Beck Bamberger, a founder myself. I've been working with venture-backed founders for a long time, and we do this little show to uncover perhaps why founders keep doing the things they do. Why are they doing a venture-backed startup? What keeps them up at night? Maybe, maybe not. Sometimes you just know. But I have a fellow Beck with me today. So I'm Beck
Hey.
Bamberger, but this is Daniel Beck or Dan Beck. He is the co-founder and CEO of 401 Go, dealing with all the things in the 401k space, which that stuff's important. So, Dan, first of all, thank you for being here.
Delighted to be here. Yes, thank
Salt
you,
Lake
Beck.
City, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Coming in from Salt Lake City. You've had a busy summer so far with the kids
Yep.
and the travel and da-da-da-da-da. So that's good. What are we fixing in the 401k arena?
So 401ks are messy. It's I've had a number of businesses before this.
Yes.
I tried to set it up 2 times, and both times, a few weeks in, I abandoned it and realized that really at the time it was more a benefit for larger companies that had an HR, at least an HR person or somebody that could administer that benefit. And so we decided to really dig into that. When I say we, it's my brother. He's one of the other co-founders and our CTO. So we've been building businesses together for well over a decade. We looked into it and realized there was an opportunity that we could bring a lot of efficiency to a system that is full of friction, complexity, exorbitant costs, all of it.
Okay. Why is there the friction in this dang space? Now, as a business owner myself, I know it's not a pleasant experience. This is why I love something like Gusto, which makes all payroll processing and tax stuff for employees and stuff so lovely and delightful with their little pig and everything. Is that a little bit along the lines of what you're doing in the 401k space? Okay.
I love that you brought up Gusto, because I was with Gusto from like their very early days, and I remember thinking, oh, this is so nice, because I've used a lot of other payroll platforms before.
Yes.
And I thought, why can't more benefits be like this, where I don't have to know a ton about the benefit? It can simplify the administration. And a lot of people don't realize the 401k is actually the most challenging benefit to offer. When you have healthcare benefits, you kind of set it once a year for an employee, that deduction coming out. But with a 401k, employers or the employees can go in and change the deferral every pay period. And so it's a lot more complex to manage. And unless you have, and this is why historically small businesses haven't offered this benefit, you have to know a lot about 401ks in order to administer that benefit. It's time consuming, it's expensive, it's messy. The employer now has a fiduciary responsibility to employees already above and beyond all the other responsibility they have. And so I thought, why isn't this like other benefits that I can get now, where I can have dynamic workers' compensation and better access to different healthcare? And we looked at it, and really the challenges within the industry is most of the providers are oriented around a specific competency. So you have to typically get 3 or 4 different providers working together, sharing data across their different systems in order to offer 401k. So how do we bundle it, simplify it, make it so you can set a plan up in as little as, for us, you can set it up in 10 minutes. The ongoing administration is all fully automated. So it's easy. We brought the easy button that you were familiar with Gusto to 401ks.
Okay. Yay. I'm so glad to hear this. Let's go back to you working with your brother. So you were saying you've been working with him for 10 plus years.
Yep.
How is that? And how are the family barbecues then and so forth? My parents worked together as dentists for 30 something years. So I know, and I come from a family, obviously they can work together, but it's not for the faint at heart, and it's not for everybody, to say the least.
No, there early on for the first 3 years, there was a lot of figuring out what he does, what I do. And now we really have that dialed in to where at the end of the day, there's an abundance of trust. I don't ever question what he's working on. He doesn't question what I'm working on. We have very different capabilities and competencies. He's our CTO. He's got an engineering mindset, brilliant when it comes to architecting software, all of that. And then he trusts me for kind of the business side of things. I've got a lot of marketing background, business administration, fundraising, those types of things. And so we have very complementary skill sets. There's a lot of trust, and we've worked through a lot of that early friction that does occur when you have somebody that is family or a spouse or something of that nature.
Yes. So back up to when that whole conversation started, like 10 plus years ago.
Yeah. So I
What
was
was it?
building
Yeah.
multiple e-commerce businesses,
Yeah.
and I needed to bring a lot more automation and technology into what I was
Hmm.
doing. Where,
Hmm.
the very early days of Amazon opening up their platform to third-party marketplace sellers, eBay, Walmart, having your own sites, and
Yeah.
so we needed an omni-channel platform, and none had really existed at the time. And so he was going through school to become a software engineer,
Okay.
and then once he graduated, I said, "Hey,
You were like, oh,
don't get a job. Let's build something cool together." And
mm.
we built our first product. We tested it with one of the companies that I had, and we're like, "Oh my gosh, this product's amazing. Why would we sell this? Let's just use it ourselves."
Are you the older brother, by the way?
I am, yes.
Oh, I can tell. It takes one to know one because you're just like, don't go get a job. Just come build something with me.
Hmm. It was fun. I mean,
So
at the
he said
time,
yes, obviously. Yeah.
yeah, and he had been kind of helping me on the side, like in the
Yeah.
summers, and he's so we've been working a little bit together while he was going to
Yeah.
school. But it was once he finally graduated, he was looking at a lot of opportunity, and I said, "Hey, let's try a few things
Let's
here."
just
And
try.
then, yep, and
Let's
we've
just see.
we've built over a dozen businesses together. This is the first time we've gone the VC route. So all the prior
Okay.
companies were more, your traditional like
Hmm.
lifestyle or bootstrap
Yes.
business.
Yes.
They're
You
very
had,
different dynamics.
for example, you had Tech Mat, you had Beck Trek, for
Backpack, yep,
example.
yep.
Yeah, you had all types of things
We
going
even
on.
had a
Okay.
food truck.
Fun. What kind of
Yeah.
food did you do?
Ice cream and kind of other
Oh,
novelty desserts. We
oh,
did that for about 2 years and shut it down. We lost a considerable amount of money.
oh,
We're good at
okay.
tech, not
We're good
food
at tech,
trucks.
not good at
Yes.
food. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. They're good. Okay. So now you've been working together as long as you have. You were saying this is the first, though, that's been VC backed and venture
Yes.
backed. So what was it in you that made you go, oh, I gotta go get some capital from these VC people?
One, kind of my entrepreneurial journey has been
Yeah.
focused around curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, being a serial entrepreneur, there were times where I was like, what would it be like to run a VC backed company?
Hmm.
So there was the curiosity. I knew I wanted to do something. And this was really the first opportunity where I said, okay, with the unit economics that we're dealing with, where you're going after an SMB market, you've
Yep.
got to have scale. And that can be really
Yes.
expensive to get to scale. We wanted to
Yes.
actually build a platform. That's also expensive. So we bootstrapped for the first couple of years. I put a substantial amount in, and my brother put a lot in, a lot of sweat equity as well before we
Mm-hmm.
went out and raised capital. But we knew this was a problem that had a lot, kind of a large upfront cost associated with it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so, but at the same time, I do feel that we've been able to add a lot of value to what we're doing because of my background having bootstrap companies. So we've grown 10 times more efficiently than any of our competitors that are kind of approaching the same problem that are also VC backed.
Mm.
And that's something that VCs are paying a premium for now. Back in 2021, they didn't really care so much. It was revenue at all costs. Now they do care about efficiency, durability. Can you build a long-term business? And we've been able to do that. So that's something that's exciting, is we've kind of straddled this line of, being venture backed, but
Mm.
also always kind of maintaining a line of sight to profitability. And that's something that a lot of VC backed firms struggle with, is they've got to do round after round after round. And oftentimes
Yeah.
they're going public, not
Yeah. No, they're
out of
not
the
profitable. Yeah,
opportunity. It's
exactly.
it's because they have to. There's no other
Yeah,
source for
exactly.
money.
Yeah, exactly. So that's quite advantageous. I think that you bring to the table is like, no, I'm actually used to running profitable businesses. So,
Yes.
so there's that. What were some of those first initial pitches like?
It's rough, when you're
Yeah,
doing your
yeah.
seed round, just getting anybody to listen. Like, somebody
Oh, I
says,
know.
okay, I'll take a pitch, and you like
Uh-huh.
bring in every resource and you do everything you can.
Yeah.
Whereas we're about to go out and raise a Series B, and the tables have turned, where I have way more investor interest than frankly I have time to entertain. So it's a good position to be in.
It's always the
Um,
best.
and we're here because of all the hard work that we've done. But early on, yeah, it's just an idea. And
Yeah,
really, I think the key to understand there is the investors that you find at that early stage, they're investing in the founders,
of
because
course.
it's
The
the
people.
founders.
Yes,
The ideas are in many ways a dime a dozen. And so it comes down
true.
to, can this founder
Can they
execute that
execute? Yeah,
vision?
that's it.
I think we probably could have tackled something in healthcare or some other
Hmm.
tech business, and probably been just as successful. But they really wanted to make sure, is this a founder, is this a team that can tackle this challenge? And that's really what they're investing in. And so I think it's really important. A lot of times we over rotate on the idea. And I think you've got to spend a lot of time getting those investors comfortable with who that founding
You,
team is,
you,
and what you've
who.
done before, and why they should take a bet on you, not so much the idea.
Oh yeah, because the idea twists and turns and goes all over
It
the dang
does.
place and blah 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 blah. Speaking of, did you specifically say and start with like it's 401ks, like this is the benefit that we want to hone out.
We
So
did.
that's never strayed. Yeah.
We haven't had too many pivots other
Yeah,
than the
that's
fact that
great.
when we wanted to solve this problem, we looked at the industry and realized a lot of the inherent problems were due to a lack of good technology. And
Mm.
so unlike other competitors who kind of did a buy versus build approach, and they said, hey, we can buy a lot of this technology, kind of piece together, put a better digital layer on it, and call that fintech. We actually built a vertically integrated platform
Mm.
in order to deliver the solution that we wanted with the efficiency that we wanted, the long-term durability that we wanted. And we didn't realize that the technology itself would actually contribute more value to the
Mm.
company than the solution we were providing. And so we're
Mm.
now in a position where a lot of our revenue is coming from other firms, these more, kind of the incumbents in the space that are coming to our company and saying, can we leverage your technology? So they don't see us as a
Oh,
competitor because most of
oh.
the industry is focused on serving large businesses, where we're focused on the SMB sector, small to medium sized businesses. And because of that, they're coming to us because all the opportunity now, there are 20 states that have passed legislation which requires employers of a certain size to offer this retirement benefit. So there's a lot of demand and a lot of growth coming from a segment the industry is not suited to provide for. And so that's where they're coming to us and
Hmm.
saying, how can we leverage your platform to offer our own
Hmm.
solutions?
Hmm.
So we knew we needed technology. We didn't know that technology was perhaps more valuable
Yeah.
than the service delivery model that we started with.
Hmm. Now, on the company description you guys have on LinkedIn, it says, we never automate relationships.
Yes.
We collaborate with the financial advisors, payroll providers, benefit brokers, and more, blah, blah, blah,
Mhm.
blah, blah. So tell us more about that, especially in this era of AI. And it's just like, oh, it's only two buttons and then it clicks and it, da, da, da. In other words, I think there's a fantasy that is outrageous right now, which is like, oh, it's just, we don't need the
Yeah.
relationships. I don't need to
Yeah.
know anybody. I'm just going to have the bot talk to a bot. It's going to be great. And I'm like, no, no. So tell me more about that in the relationship quote there.
It wasn't too hard to figure out really from day one. When you're dealing with large sums of money, somebody's retirement, and we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars for an individual, or
Yeah.
tens of millions of dollars for a company. um, they're not going to trust that to AI. They're not going to
Oh,
trust
yeah.
that to a chat bot. They
Yeah.
want to make sure that there's somebody that they can call if there's a problem. And really that's why we wanted to have a partner-based approach where it wasn't just, a website and a chat window, but you can actually talk to somebody. And so we wanted to kind of blend this high tech, high touch approach.
Hmm.
And that was really our focus. Is we felt that the best solution wasn't going to be just what can I do with my phone, through
Yeah.
an app, but also
Yeah.
who can I call? And so I love that even, we have over 5,000 employers on our platform, about almost 2,000 partners that we work with. These are either payroll providers or financial advisors. And every time somebody calls in, we do not have a dial tree where you have to push one for this or two for that. A human answers the phone. They know who you are. They
Yes.
can already jump to solving the
Yes.
solution. We
Yes.
typically see resolutions in under 5 minutes. And at the end of the day, I think people care about that a lot more today than they did maybe 5 or 10 years ago. I can't tell you how many times you call into a call center, you're saying agent,
Oh,
representative. You're trying to
man.
talk to a human because you know that the robot you're talking to won't
Man.
be able to solve your problem.
This is my biggest thing, and this is my biggest hope that there's going to be an entire swing back to analog and to human like
Hmm.
connections, and that the biggest flex of a business is like ring one. This is Nordstrom saying like on ring one, a human picks up.
Yeah.
Hi, Dan. What department can I connect you to? Boom,
Yep.
done. You're like,
Yep.
oh my god, it's so refreshing.
It is. It is. And that's honestly the challenge we had is we're going up against other VC backed firms that are trying to solve the same problem. And they've raised over $700 million.
Yeah.
And when you're trying to compete with that, they can throw money around to try to fix problems. We've got to deliver. We got to differentiate on quality. We got to differentiate on the value that we're providing. And so that was the focus. Is how do I
Mhm.
add value beyond just the technology? And it really comes down to relationships at the end of the day. You'd rather know the financial advisor down the street that you're working with, that if there's a problem, you can talk to them, that if you call into 401 Go, a representative is going to pick up the phone. They're going to know who you are based off of your phone number that's in our system. If not, they'll be able to pull up your information really quickly and we solve those problems.
That's nice, Dan. It seems like a little bit of a Zappos approach, if you
Yes,
will.
I love that. Yep, I
Mm,
love Zappos. I love their company, the
mhm.
culture, the way they've approached it, and that's in many ways of all the different businesses that I've built. That's a core theme. Like we go above and beyond to deliver value to the individuals, understanding that the value isn't just a product. It's not just a price. It's the entire experience.
Mm, mm. And for something, Dan, just say is like something is like, oh, 401k, like it's just like where I park my
Yeah,
money and I make money and then I retire, whatever. It's like, what an original or application to it, because similar to Zappos, it was just like it's just shoes. You're just
yeah.
in a box of shoes, right? But how cool. Okay, what recently became clear?
For the value of culture in
Mm,
this company, especially a lot of the businesses that I built before, they were small enough that really myself, my brother, we were the culture.
yeah,
We set the
yeah,
example. It was pretty easy. The culture was an extension of us.
uh-huh.
And I knew that building a rapidly scaling company would require a different approach to culture. And that has been a lot of fun to build a company where people, and I hear this time and time again, this is the best company I've ever been at.
Mm.
In
Isn't
town
that great?
halls, they're very concerned about the investors that we're bringing in, if that's going to change the culture. And so we've been very
Oh,
deliberate about building culture because it's something that has brought value to our team
mm-hmm,
and then also to our partners. And that's the fun thing, is similar to Zappos, there's kind of just this unique, like culture element to
mm-hmm.
it. And that's, we're building a cult following, both with the partners that we connect with, our employees, and that revolves around culture.
You do have this on your LinkedIn. Culture is king! Exclamation
Yes.
point. Yes.
Yes.
So would it be fair, and just to kind of like wrap us up here, Dan, for our time today, you are uh, not as bullish on AI agents and all the AI smithereens that are going on, or what would you say?
I
Slash, what's
love
your advice for
I
other
love
founders out there?
AI. I
Me
love AI.
too.
You've got to play with it. You've got to
You have to.
experiment with it, but it is not production market ready. Like it's fun for experimentation. It blows my mind how much it's advancing. Like within
Oh yeah.
a year ago, it was almost all
Nothing.
purely
I know.
novelty.
Yeah.
Now there's a lot of utility to it,
Hmm.
but I see it being implemented so poorly, and oftentimes, and especially in our space is so regulated. With regulations, you don't want creativity. AI brings in an
No.
element of creativity. So for us, it's more
You don't
about
want
automation.
hallucinations. Mm,
Exactly.
mm,
Yeah. For us, it's
yeah.
more about automation.
Yeah.
We're going to leverage AI internally to make sure that it's really ready to roll out to our partners and to our clients. So I'm bullish overall, but it still has a lot more development before it's ready for the real world. I feel like, at least for
Mhm,
us.
mhm, mm. Anything else you would impart, Dan, as a seasoned founder here, working with your brother or whatnot?
It takes a lot of grit, and I
Yeah.
feel like if you're curious, you're willing to work hard. You will find problems to solve. I talk to a lot of people that are just like, I'd love to do the entrepreneur thing. I'd love to build a business. I just don't have any ideas. And I feel like I've got a million ideas in no time. And so I feel
Yes,
like if you're
exactly.
struggling to find ideas, just get curious. When you're at work and you keep running into
Yes,
roadblocks, ask
yes.
why and why and why over and over and over again. And when you do that, you're going to find a problem to solve. And there's probably a few dozen under every person's nose right now. They just need to be a little bit more curious, and they're going to
Mhm.
find something fun to solve.
I like how you phrase that. It was like something fun to solve,
Yes.
like
Yes.
401ks, which I would never categorize as fun, or
Yeah.
payroll as fun.
Mhm.
But a lot, and I think this is something just for founders, is it doesn't matter the what, like what the thing is, the problem and the fun of
Mhm.
solving it is the game and
Yes.
is the joy.
Yep.
So I love that you said that. So go find fun problems, everybody. Go find one, and then have a fun time solving it, just like that. Okay.
Absolutely.
Mm. Well, Dan, thank you for being on today. Dan Beck, he's a co-founder and CEO of 401 Go. If you need 401k help, because we all have 401ks, this is where to go. See what I did there, Dan? See what I did?
Love it. Love it.
Perfect. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Beck.